Habs are missing some key players to complete their team, such as a second center, more muscle, and a defensive defenseman. However, they seem to have their goalie situation under control. Jakub Dobeš is the only reason that the Habs made it as far as they did in the playoffs. And with Jacob Fowler's rookie season coming soon, I think the Habs are going to have goalies on the all-rookie team 2 years in a row. But the Habs have 3 goalies: Dobeš, Fowler, and Montembeault. It's hard to believe that Monty was once the Habs' first goalie, but it was crazier than that. He was part of the Four Nations team. He was a contender for the Olympics. It was largely believed that Monty was the main reason that the Habs didn't get Connor Bedard in the 2023 draft. He was just too good. And he was a big reason that they made it to the 2025 playoffs, because honestly, I don't think they would have made it without him. Now, I don't even think that the Habs can trade him away. They're either going to send him down to Laval or have him in the press box in case Fowler or Dobeš gets hurt. I don't even think the most desperate teams would take him in a trade at this point. The only real option is to keep him until his contract runs out, which this upcoming season is the last year. Now let's have a mini discussion of the rise and fall of Samuel Montembeault and what happened to him. Monty was selected 77th overall at the 2015 NHL draft by the Florida Panthers. He played in the QMJHL until the 2017-2018 season. That year, he started playing for Florida's AHL team, the Springfield Thunderbirds. Montembeault made his NHL debut on March 2nd, 2019 in a 4-3 overtime loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. He played another game against the Minnesota Wild and allowed 2 goals in a 6-2 win. In his first 5 games, he had 4 wins and 1 overtime loss. In a 2-1 shootout loss to the New York Islanders, he was sent back to Springfield. He finished the season with 4 wins, 3 losses, and 2 overtime losses, averaging 3.04 goals allowed per game and a save percentage of .894. Monty concluded the 2018-2019 season successfully. He signed a 1-year, 2-way contract on July 19th. He began well with a record of 1-0-1, but struggled in the next 3 starts, allowing 5 goals each time. On November 12th, he replaced Sergei Bobrovsky against the Boston Bruins after Bobrovsky was pulled. Montembeault saved all shots he faced, and the team won 5-4 in a shootout. After a loss to the Sabres, he went to Springfield with a 3-2-1 record. Montembeault was recalled in January 2020 as backup after Bobrovsky's injury. He finished the season with a 5-5-1 record and a goals against average of 3.34. But Montembeault did not play for the Panthers in the 2020-2021 NHL season. He played for the Syracuse Crunch in the AHL, finishing with a 8-4-1 record and a goals against average of 2.86. In 25 games with the Panthers, he had a 9-8-3 record and a goals against average of 3.2. On October 1st, 2021, the Florida Panthers put him on waivers and the Montreal Canadiens claimed him the next day. He debuted with the Canadiens in a preseason loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs and delivered an impressive performance. The Habs unfortunately lost 6-2. With starting goalie Carey Price on a leave of absence for mental health, Montembeault became the main backup to Jake Allen. After Allen was injured on January 12, 2022, Montembeault took over as the starter for about 2 months. He became the first Canadiens goalie with 48 plus saves in 2 straight games and earned his first NHL shutout against the Buffalo Sabres on February 23rd. When Allen returned, Montembeault played less, but after Allen was hurt again in early April, he resumed his starting role. He ended the season with 8 wins, 18 losses, 6 overtime losses, a 3.77 goals against average, and a .891 save percentage, and 1 shutout. On July 18th, 2022, Montembeault signed a 2-year, $2 million contract extension with the Canadiens. He started the 2022-2023 season as Jake Allen's backup, but soon demonstrated improved performance. After Allen's injury in January 2023, Montembeault became the starter, going 4-4 in 8 games with a .93 save percentage. General manager Ken Hughes praised his potential, saying Sam definitely isn't going anywhere. Discussion arose about Montembeault as the team's main goalie. Upon Allen's return, they alternated starts. Montembeault finished second to Nick Suzuki for the Molson Cup as the team's player of the year. After missing the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, Montembeault joined the Canadiens national team for the IIHF World Championship. He recorded a shutout against Latvia and started 7 of Canada's 10 games. With a 1.42 goals against average and a .939 save percentage, he helped Canada win the championship. When Kane Primo was no longer waiver exempt, the Canadiens had Montembeault, Allen, and Primo in rotation. Montembeault played 10 games in the first 2 months, winning 5 and recording a .910 save percentage. On December 1st, he was re-signed for 3 years at $9.45 million. On January 6, 2024, Montembeault saved 45 saves in a 4-3 shutout win. He had a career high by playing in 41 games with a record of 16 wins and 15 losses and a save percentage of .903. In the 2024-2025 season, Montembeault became the starting goalie. He recorded a 48 save shutout in the home opener against the Toronto Maple Leafs, setting a record for most saves in a season opening shutout. He recorded his second shutout against the Oilers on November 18th and his third against the Predators on December 5th, tying for the season lead. On January 21st, 2025, he achieved his 17th win, a new personal best. Before the Four Nations face-off break, he lost 4 of 5 starts, posting a 3.25 goals against average and a .883 save percentage. On December 24th, Montembeault was chosen as one of the 3 goalies for Canada's team in the Four Nations face-off. He joined Jordan Bennington and Aiden Hill, but did not play any games. Despite this, he won a gold medal when Canada beat the United States in overtime on February 20th, 2025. He bounced back after the break, earning his 4th shutout of the season with 20 saves against the Hurricanes on February 25th. Montembeault continued to start games as the team aimed for the playoffs. On April 8th, he stopped 35 of 36 shots in a key win against the Detroit Red Wings, securing an 8-point lead in the wild card race. On April 16th, the Canadiens clinched a playoff spot with a 4-2 victory over the Hurricanes, during which Montembeault made 27 saves. He finished the season with a 31-24-7 record with a .902 save percentage. He ranked 5th in the league with 24.6 goals saved above expected. Montembeault started his first NHL playoff game on April 21st, making 29 saves in a 3-2 overtime loss to the Capitals. He left the third game with an injury while the score was tied 2-2. The Canadiens won that game 6-3. Montembeault was later confirmed to have torn 2 groin muscles, which did not require surgery. Monty faced challenges at the start of the 2025-2026 season and was sent to Laval for conditioning on December 16, 2025. He returned to the Canadiens after Christmas and won his first game back on December 30th against the Panthers. Despite a strong performance against the Winnipeg Jets on February 5th, he continued to struggle. After allowing 5 goals in a loss to the Ducks on March 6th, he did not play again for the season, with Dobish and Fowler as the goaltending duo. Montembeault described the season as difficult and disappointing, admitting he put too much pressure on himself, and I think so too. He finished with a record of 10 wins, 8 losses, and 4 overtime losses, with a save percentage of .872. Now, what exactly happened to Monty? The simple answer is he was never meant to be the starter goalie. He was brought in to back up Jake Allen when he became the starter goalie. Monty just happened to be much better than people expected, which is why they regularly rotated Monty and Allen for starter goalie. Eventually, they made the choice of which goalie to keep, which was Monty. I simply think it's because Monty was younger, since Allen and Monty were about the same level when they traded Allen away. After they traded Allen away, things did not improve. Monty and Primo were not a good goaltending duo, which is why they brought in Dobish for the 2024-2025 season. Then they got rid of Primo, but Monty and Dobish weren't a good goalie tandem either. So they brought in Fowler. Now they're back at 3 goalies again, but this time, Monty is Primo. We see a pattern, right? Monty is at his best when he's playing second fiddle to another goalie. The second you make him first, he can't handle the pressure and he chokes. That's why when they brought him back from Laval before they sent Fowler away, he played his best games all season because he was playing second fiddle to someone else, which in that case was Fowler. Some people aren't meant to be number 1. Some people are just better off as the number 2, because while it's less money and less attention, it's also less pressure. This could have fixed things with Dobish, who I believe struggled because the Habs higher-ups seemed to lack faith in him. They only slotted him into first after Monty failed, which is more pressure than it should have been. They should have just switched right away. Both goalies would have been better off. Honestly, if if Monty cannot be traded, he's better off in Laval, if not the press box, for his last season with the Habs. It's just sad when the Habs were at their worst, he was one of the ones carrying them. And now that the team is actually good, he buckled under the pressure since expectations are so high. I think it's best that we all pretend that Monty's 2025-2026 season never happened and just associate him with his first 5 seasons as a Hab. Anyways, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!